Good afternoon and welcome to CEC Gurukul lecture. In continuation with the series on Indian sociological tradition, today I am going to talk about Radha Kamal Mukherjee in his life and work. And before we start going to know about R.K. Mukherjee or Radha Kamal Mukherjee, it's very important to understand why we are looking into these thinkers. And here it can be understood from two perspectives. One, that these thinkers have brought about a lot of contribution in terms of institutionalizing the discipline of sociology, especially in India. And secondly, when we read their work, when we read the original work, we realize that way back in the 30s and 40s, these scholars were trying to understand, make sense of the problems that contemporary India is facing. So if we have to understand the society in a more holistic manner, it is very important to go back to these thinkers. And with that perspective, with that objective in mind, let us understand the life and work of Radha Kamal Mukherjee. So as we know that in the previous lecture on G.S. Ghurre and on D.P. Mukherjee, I had already spoken about the fact that there was a trio or group of three individuals, that is D.P. Mukherjee, G.S. Ghurre and R.K. Mukherjee, who laid the foundation of the Lucknow Department of Sociology at Lucknow University. And therefore, the three of them are considered as pioneers of sociology in India. So his contribution in terms of setting up the department and kind of contributing to the entire institutionalization, rather professionalization of sociology in India has been recommendable. And in that extent, a number of times R.K. Mukherjee has been compared to Talcott Parsons, and the same way as Talcott Parsons was giving theories, general theories of society. So when we look through the work of R.K. Mukherjee, we see even he has given us a general theory of society in which he emphasizes on Indian traditional values in terms of trying to understand indigenous society, and that becomes a landmark contribution from a sociological perspective, from a paradigm perspective, because it's very important to understand society from its own perspective. And again, to repeat something that has been said in the previous lecture also, that this was a time that the entire understanding of society in India was from a colonial perspective, where India was looked upon as an object of study. So we had a large amount of contribution of Western thinkers who were kind of objectifying India and trying to understand Indian society in terms of caste, class and village. But here we have an Indian scholar, a social scientist, who is trying to emphasize on significance of social values, on the understanding of the relation between biology and organism and the human relation. So he is in a way will be kind of rejecting these Western perspective, and also the idea that India as a society could be understood from a Western lens. So you need to understand Indian society as it is from its own indigenous perspective, and that's the contribution of R.K. Mukherjee. So when we look into the whole idea that he has contributed to the building of a general theory of society, this we see from his own work entitled Faiths and Influence, where he writes, "A true general theory of society is the corpus of theories, laws and explanation of social sciences. It is a body of integrated and coordinated knowledge related to society as a whole. For the society is not divisible, only the social science for the sake of analysis and specialization of fractionalization." So when we look into his own idea of theory here, we kind of get into idea of two things. One, that he is looking as the entire society as one universe, where a kind of an interdisciplinary perspective can be used. And in that context, R.K. Mukherjee was completely against the idea that we should kind of departmentalize or specialized, and kind of even knowledge is in that sense kind of fractioned. So he was one of the person who kind of advocated interdisciplinarity, in the sense that one could understand a institution or a social problem from both economic, political, social science, sociology and historical perspective. So that would give us a kind of a very holistic understanding of any society as such. such. And in that attempt, when a scholar or a social scientist is trying to incorporate elements from different disciplines and evolve an understanding, he or she will be able to develop a theory of the society, and that was what is very critical when we look into what R.K. Mukherjee was trying to advocate. So when we look into his entire life, we kind of begin with his formative years, where we see he was born on 7 December 1889 in a large Bengali family in Behrampur, West Bengal. Now there is a lot of literature on the life of R.K. Mukherjee, where the focus is in terms of the time when he was growing up, the fact that he was born in Bengal, which was a center of lot of social reform and cultural revolution and changes that was taking place. It is when he's growing up, he's being impacted by this. And the second influence on his life is the role that his father kind of played, and that is his father was a kind of very renowned lawyer and the leader of the bar. So at the same time, he was a great scholar with interest in history. As a result, R.K. Mukherjee's house was full of books and newspapers and articles, and he was growing up reading a lot and being in between, surrounded by scholars and thinkers. So it was a huge house which was full of books, and there were regular discussions on relevant issues. So it impacted the way he starts becoming familiar to the problems that India was facing at a very young age, and he starts critically analyzing and thinking about it. So in that, continuing with his birth in a large Brahmin family, an educated family, a scholar and a scientist, he was kind of taken up. He almost spent 16 years of his early life in Behrampur, where he was born, and he received his early education there. He graduated from Krishnanath College in Behrampur, but later on for his masters, he joined Presidency College, Calcutta, where he was a recipient of a scholarship for completing his studies in English and history. So he kind of masters the two disciplines in order to kind of evolve as a scholar. In 1910, he was appointed teacher of economics in Behrampur College, where he wrote his first book, and that's the foundation of Indian economy. And this is like most of the early thinkers who were kind of part of economics, and then kind of being a scholar of economics and working on economics, it takes way to sociology, where they then start looking into sociology from social problems from a more interdisciplinary perspective. So from 1917 to 1921, he taught economics, sociology, political science and philosophy at Calcutta University. And this is a very important that here to kind of also bring in that in those early days in the 90s, 70s and 20s, the departmentalization was not as it is today. Today we have further specialization not only in sociology but further into subject studies like gender studies or Dalit studies and so on and so forth. In the early 1920s, 30s, we had these departments which were one holistic department where all the papers like economics, politics, social science, sociology would be taught at the same time, and it kind of also was important because it helped to develop an interdisciplinary perspective. He received his doctorate degree in 1920 from Calcutta University, and his work, that is his PhD work, was socio-economic change in the rural India. So when we look into the title of his thesis, that is socio-economic change, we see him shifting from pure economics, where he was trying to bring in a lot of economic theory of trying to understand the problems that Indian society was facing, to bringing in the socio-economic element. And this is again something which is very central from a paradigm shift in social science and sociology, where it was 1980s, 1990s, we start talking about embeddedness, where it is very important to understand the linkages with society in terms of the economy and the culture, and therefore it needs to have a socio-economic understanding of rural India. So when we look into the context, it's very important to keep in mind that whenever we try to understand a thinker and the work that he or she has contributed, it's very important to place the thinker in the socio-economic political milieu in which one is being born up and brought up, because it impacts the way one starts theorizing, it impacts the way one starts writing and becomes part of the discourse. So when we look into the context, and as I already said, that he was born at growing up at a time when the Bengal was a center of nationalist upsurge, and there were a lot of political events taking place, and the most important was the partition of Bengal in 1905, and this was kind of had threw open a lot of discourse, lot of discussions on the nationalist movement, and even in terms of the history of Bengal. So he was a part of this discourse and discussion at a very young age. So in his desire to kind of study more about his country and nation, he had taken up the master's degree in economics, because he was kind of trying to make sense of why there was such a high scale of poverty, or why there was so much of underdevelopment facing the country. So he believed that the knowledge of economics could provide scientific solution to the problem of poverty, hunger and underdevelopment. So as I already said, that R.K. Mukherjee was kind of concerned with some of the problem that was kind of affecting the nation, and when he is being part of the discourse and discussions on nationalist movement, on the partition of Bengal, he starts developing this urge to know more why India has such a high rate of poverty, or why there is so much of hunger, and that is why he starts kind of doing a full-fledged course in economics. So he was one of among the first batch of students to complete his masters in economics and sociology at Calcutta University in 1910. And therefore, when he is doing his masters, sociology enters into his economic lecture through his emphasis on region. And this is again when we look into his whole idea of how he elaborates on the concept of region, the interdisciplinary component of his theoretical perspective comes out very clearly. So he will be emphasizing how region and regionalism should be central to any social science understanding of society in India. So what does he mean by region? By the term region, he meant biological, geographical, social and cultural complex. So when we look into this, he has brought in all dimension where we cannot kind of just look into as in terms of geography. Most of the commonsensical understanding tells us that region is something to do with geography, that is the area of area having a certain climate, certain soil conditions, certain habitation. But R.K. Mukherjee is telling us that it also has a social dimension, it has a cultural dimension. So that is from where his emphasis on region, he will shift to his understanding of social ecology. But what we need to understand is that region is bringing in the sociology dimension into his understanding. So when you are trying to understand region from the multiple dimensions, say from biological, social, cultural, the intention is to understand any problem from ground reality. So especially if we were trying to understand a problem like poverty, which most of the time in commonsensical understanding is believed to be something which is related to only economic factor. So most of the scholars would study poverty, why the income is low, or why the person is not able to kind of earn, what are the skill lacking. Here he is bringing in that poverty could be related to a region because of certain area which is a part of certain geographical, it has a certain culture, and also in terms of history. So that would help us to understand the problem from ground reality. So initially we know that he was doing a master's in economics, he was kind of oriented to economic analysis, but slowly and gradually R.K. Mukherjee turned towards sociology, and that is he valued his early training in the discipline of history, very much face to face contact with misery, squalor, degradation in the slums of Calcutta. So while as a student and his own kind of personal experience of poverty, of the conditions of individuals living in the slum made him think, and that's what made him shift his attention towards sociology and economics. So he started an adult evening school in 1906 in the slum of Mechur Bazar of Calcutta. So as a student, he is kind of is also very concerned about what the problems that people are facing, and therefore in his free time he starts kind of educating or doing certain kind of social activism for the people. And he was also a very vivid writer. He kind of wrote a lot of text for adult education which sold in thousands. So he was not only a kind of an academician, he was at the same time an activist who wanted to bring about some amount of change in society. So when we look into his contribution, because we are doing looking at his contribution in terms of the discipline of sociology, it's very important to understand what are his contribution. So he is kind of remembered for four fields. One is the theory of Indian culture, where he will kind of reject the Western perspective and emphasize on Indian tradition and the objectification of understanding culture from indigenous perspective. The second contribution in sociology is his theory of social values, and as I have said in the beginning, for R.K. Mukherjee, social value is very significant. So he builds its entire theory or the general theory of society around the concept of social values. So we will deal in detail in next lecture on R.K. Mukherjee's theory of social value. And the third contribution is in terms of a universal culture, where, as I already said, that he was trying to considering of the society as a uniform, universal, where interdisciplinary approach could be utilized to understand the problem. The most important contribution in sociology by R.K. Mukherjee has been in the field of social ecology, where he has been considered as one of the first scholars to bring in an interrelated approach to understand the relation between human organism and the environment. And he kind of looks through social ecology into a lot of problems that has been facing the society in terms of ecological balance, the imbalance being created, environmental degradation, and so forth. So the detail of understanding of social ecology I'll do in the lecture on R.K. Mukherjee's theory of social ecology. But why he started developing this interest in ecology was because his interest was to study of region, which kind of was very significant. He is kind of considered as pioneering or as one of the first individual to in social sciences to bring in the understanding of region, and from region emerges the interest in social ecology. So there is a kind of an event associated with his life, which is kind of described as being very significant in terms of enabling R.K. Mukherjee to develop his interest in social ecology. So the principal of his college, Rev. E.M. Wheeler, was deeply interested in the sciences, especially in botany. Therefore, the teacher included Mukherjee spent a lot of time collecting specimens of plants and insects of all kinds and studying them. So, though he himself was not a student of botany, but because of his association with his principal, he started spending a lot of time trying to understand plants, the insects, their origin, and so on and so forth. And being a social scientist, he was studying these plants and animals. Being a social scientist, what he kind of innovatively did was to link the understanding of plants and animals to human organism, and that's how social ecology kind of develops in his theories. So he became very kind of interested in developing a linkage or a link between the environment and human life, living human beings, and that's how it becomes kind of important to understand his contribution to social ecology. He is kind of regarded as the first social scientist to give us a systematic theory of interaction between culture and environment. And we'll see in the later lecture that how earlier, prior to R.K. Mukherjee, so ecology was basically kind of considered to belong to the physical sciences and was understood only in the realms of plants and animals and natures and environment. It is R.K. Mukherjee who brings in culture. And that becomes very significant, that how there is a kind of dialectical relation between culture and environment. And therefore, it becomes very significant. Now we have specialized discipline called environmental sociology. So, R.K. Mukherjee's understanding of social ecology becomes the foundation to the development of the discipline of environmental sociology. So, he has done a large number of work which he has written is an exhaustive list of work that he has written. So, the three ways, the way of transcend religion as a social norm, sociology and mysticism theory. If we go through this, the list is quite lengthy. We just kind of quickly go through this list is in terms of looking into his contribution. He's written on environment, he's written on rural economy, on regional economy, he's written on introduction to social psychology, and so on and so forth. As at the same time, he was also kind of having a lot of administrative force. He was the economic advisor to Gwalior. He was the vice chancellor of Lucknow University. He was the president of Indian sociological tradition, and so forth. What is very important and is to understand his approach to sociology, and that is that he had a philosophical anthropological, meta theoretical perspective, structural functional approach, and transdisciplinary approach. So, philosophical anthropology in the sense that he wanted to kind of understand the significance of anthropology in terms of understanding how the emergence of a phenomena takes place in society and how anthropology should be able to answer that fundamental question from a scientific discipline. Meta theoretical perspective in the sense of dialectical materialism. He is kind of influenced by Karl Marx dialectical materialism, but he shifts it. Karl Marx is more at a kind of a theoretical level. He brings it at a ground level, and as I've already said, it's a transdisciplinary approach because he believes in interdisciplinary approach and try to bring in all economy, sociology, history, all the discipline for understanding Indian society. And therefore, if we look into his teachings and writing, Mukherjee has emphasized the need for interaction between social science and between the physical and social sciences. So, he is completely against the departmentalization or specialization, and he says that as human being we should kind of increase our knowledge and use it for understanding the society at ground reality. So, we have tried to understand life and work of R.K. Mukherjee. With this, I come to an end of this lecture. Thank you.